done without a pick. Just rotating these 4 digits of my right hand in what you might call a reverse roll, thumb, ring, middle, index. If you're a classical player, it's P-A-M-I. If you are a classical player, actually, this technique shouldn't be too terribly hard for you to grasp. If you're a pick player, it's going to be a lot harder. But if you're interested in getting the sound of flesh on strings, then opposed to a pick, which might do that same thing. You know, that's very clarion, but it's kind of harsh to my ear. So now I'm going to start to compare all the tone of my other fingers to my thumb, because I think the thumb, as Wes Montgomery proved forever and forever, that the thumb is the most beautiful sound on an arch-top guitar. So I'm trying to get all my fingers, all my digits, to sound basically like my thumb, and trying to get them all to be an even stroke. And that's the hard part. So there is a downside to this exploration of using your fingers to play lines. But if you can use your fingers to play lines, then you can also play all the other chordal things on a guitar, and you never have to drop your pick to get that finger picking sound. Your fingers are always ready to go. That was Monkey Boy, by the way, jumping on, if you happen to see him. I don't know if he was in the shot or not. But basically what we want to explore here is, how do I get, okay, that's a nice theory. So you're saying that you're rotating your fingers, again, P-A-M-I, or thumb, ring, middle, index. I'm going to use thumb, ring, middle, index, if you don't mind. You're randomly picking notes that your left hand is improvising. So something has to be automatic. And like with a flat pick, you might play up and down strokes. You know, in a somewhat automatic. I can hardly play with a pick anymore. Well, that's because I never play with a pick anymore. But something has to have that same sort of motor, and of course it is your right hand. So what I initially started to do was play just single note with thumb. Right now I'm playing F sharp here up on the 2nd string. So thumb, ring, middle, index, thumb, ring, middle, index, thumb, ring, middle, index. Trying to get each one to sound basically like the other one. There's a little bit of discrepancy. The thumb is a heavier digit, so it tends to make a louder sound, but you try to compensate for it, and the better you get at compensating for it, the faster you can go, and eventually make a tremolo kind of a thing. So now you've got several notes on the same string. You can be faster and faster. Or you can then start to bridge 2 strings, go from one string to another. Maybe 2 notes on one string and 1 note on the next string, and then you keep that rotation going. You know, eventually, now again, there are a whole series of exercises that I put together that and honestly, you could put together your own exercises. Once you understand what it is that you're trying to achieve ultimately, which is, again, this rotation. And remember, the left hand has all of its possibilities intact. There's nothing changing down here on your left hand. All the different pull-off and hammer-on techniques that you can do. My producer's trying to tell me something, but I can't understand what he's saying, so I'm just going to go on. We're moving on. So yeah, now I'm hammering up 4 notes, 5 notes. You know, you can, all that left hand stuff, excuse me, is still valid. So So now we've got the idea that, okay, maybe I'll go across 4 strings with an arpeggio. And again, I'm not going through the little increments that I would go through if I were trying to learn this. I'm kind of jumping from one thing to another, from a single note on 1 string just to feel what the right hand is trying to do, and eventually across the strings. All of this is still boom, boom, dun, 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 no matter how oxy it might seem at first. Like, wait, you're saying that now I got to get my thumb up to the high string, and the answer is yeah, you really have to have some machine-like quality to this thing, and that has to finally get tucked into your brain enough that your muscles do it somewhat automatically. Then you can start to think of what notes you want to play. Right? So that's kind of a little introduction to this thing. I would actually like to, and on the website, I'm going to explore exercise by exercise eventually, and we'll put them on in order from the very simple to the more complex until we're starting to go across the strings. Again, that's not just stroking like that. I must admit that would be pretty easy to do. So this is hard to do. I could go with a pick, I guess. I could go sweep that. And somebody that could sweep like a monster, would do that. As soon as I try to go fast, I'll screw it up. So I'll go fast and show you that I can screw things up. See, I can't really do it. I can mimic it a little bit, but again, somebody that was a master at sweep picking would be able to do that. But it still sounds like that. Mine sounds like because this hand is almost automatically muting the notes as it goes by them. So it's actually a more distinct kind of sound to my ear. And then because it's a very personal thing, this is how I hear it now. I hear the guitar with my fingers. I don't hear it at all with a pick. If I'm playing it, I can bear witness to somebody else's playing who maybe plays magnificently with a pick. But I think for those of us that have this sort of desire, if you will, to play with your fingers and throw the pick out, boy, I tell you what, this has worked for me tremendously. So we're good to go, and I'll come back at you with those exercises as we put them up. Thanks.